The first question which the priest and the Levite asked was, "If I stop to help this man, what will happen to me?" But the Good Samaritan reversed the question. "If I do not stop to help this man, what will happen to him?" Martin Luther King Jr. Good evening, everybody. So, doing some reflection, and there was a story I had when I was younger. It's always been formulating in my head, but I always wondered, what's the context? What's the reason for it? And I think I now know what it is. It's funny how that is, isn't it? First in, last out. It's not a new concept. It's always been around. Firefighters use it. That's where I got the picture if you're watching on DLive. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the same one. That's what I'm going to use for the thumbnail. And let's go ahead and adjust the display. You guys don't need to see all that bling, I guess. And I didn't do that. All right, here you go. All right. So the story is it has in part to do with my ayahuasca experience. So the first time where I experienced the pain, the burden that mother had, there's also another realization that there's someone else that took the place of that pain and that burden to alleviate mother's pain. And I don't know if it's called a cycle or whatever it is. I don't understand what it is. But let's just say it's a cycle or age, whatever you want to call it. Someone decides to stay. I think everyone here gets tired of life at some point, and I'll play back a video of some writer. But it's not like tired as in you don't enjoy life. You just see a repeated pattern in life and things going worse and worse. And many people would go, why would we want to stay in this? I mean, sure, if we could just, if we had all the riches in the world, do whatever we want, yeah, that'd be pretty something else. But then it'd also be boring. No matter what, you might get bored. It's even when you play a video game and you play it on the easiest mode, you have the cheat codes, you're playing in God mode, it gets boring. It's fun at first, but then it gets boring. And so the difficulty, you up the difficulty, but you start not using the cheat codes, you're no longer in God mode, and you get to play the game as it's supposed to be played, and it's pretty fun. You go through it and you go, okay, that was pretty good. It was a little bit challenging, not too hard, but you don't really want to play it again. You'll play it on difficult settings, okay. It's a little bit more difficult, it's a little bit more challenging. You're probably like, yeah, enthused to go ahead and finish the game. But you try to do that over and over and over again. It's like reading the same book, watching the same movie, listening to the same song. It starts to drive you a little bit mad. You know, it drives you a little crazy. And I could understand it if that idea of cycled souls or whatever you want to call it, if you're ready to go and experience something after which you have no idea, no remembrance of, no memory, you're probably ready to go and find out what's there. But just like in the Martin Luther King Jr. quote and the idea of first in, last out, what happens to everyone else that doesn't get to go? And I think that's who Mother is trying to find. And once Mother finds it, or not it, I don't know what to call it, her champion, whatever it is, she can carry on and keep continuing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because whether her child is born here or Earth is her child, I don't know. But there's a reason for her to stay. But she can't keep doing it all alone. She can't bear all the burden. And also the person who was taking the place of her burden and her pain can't stay as well here forever either. So that's the idea of my story in a way. And that's, imagine if this champion, the previous champion of hers, has a limit, whether it's fighting her son to stalemate each time, or finally going crazy where this previous incarnation or the previous ones throughout the ages, throughout the cycles, this is a story, mind you, decides, I'm just going to see what happens if I just do what I want. And thus, the champion does what the champion wants, and more pain, more burden, and the champion needs to be replaced. Therefore, a new champion is chosen, but it's a long process because you make the wrong mistake, it's bad, right? You have a bad seed, well, you're gonna grow something that ain't very good. So you gotta find something good, and I think that's a test. It's maybe a testament to the character of an individual throughout their life or lifetimes. I don't know, but to keep loving the people that they don't know, keep loving the people that they may hate, that they may dislike, that have done wrong to him or her or their family and friends, but in the end realizes this isn't lasting, the pain isn't lasting, it's buried. There's a couple of things. Yeah, that love has to be there, that's true, but laughter, I think, kind of a childlike wonder, because how long can you last? Can you imagine living, say, it's like 2,160 years, something like that? You probably go like, yeah, that'd be awesome. But it'd be kind of lonely, because you're just creating and then letting it get out there. Maybe taking a place here or there, whatever. And maybe you get tired and saying one lifetime, like say in 72 years, you just get tired. It's like, I can't do this for 2,000 and I don't know, 80 or whatever years. You're you're probably gonna go crazy. Some people are just ready and they're done. One lifetime, they're done. But and that's fine. Maybe in this story, you don't get to leave until the cycle ends, the age ends. And when that time comes, it's like the exit. It's like, hey, the exit's appearing. Let's all go. Whoever's ready to go, you can go. You figured it out. You know where the exit is. You know what to do. And you can go ahead and go. Everyone else is like, where's everyone gone? You don't know. But then someone was like, what happens if we all go? If no one decides to stay, where one person can either shut the door as the last one out, or shut the door as the only one in. And you shut that door, if you're the last one out, you don't know what happens inside ever. No one does. It's the end. So maybe that's why things keep continuing. There's always been a great sacrifice where someone decides to stay. Not necessarily an easy task, I would say. Who knows? Maybe it's not even 2,160 years. Maybe it's 100,000 years. Who knows? But can you imagine being immortal? Even if you pace yourself, it's a difficult task. And who knows what type of life it is? If you're just recycled through normal life, but I doubt it. And I think creativity has a lot to do with it, because you have to world build. You have to build the world up. You could continue on, remember how much you can remember, have access to what there was. But you'll probably make mistakes. And then there's other factors probably which you have to deal with. So it's just a routine, day to day. It's almost like a job. It is a job. And you're free from it when someone comes to replace you. And that someone might never show. Maybe these cycles, these ages, they last as long until the next champion appears and wants to take up that task. I doubt it's a want, but it has to be a want. I mean, has to care about everything, really. And that can cause a lot of suffering. And there's a lot of sadness to it, but there's a lot of happiness, and that's why we have all these mixed emotions, and that's why all this variety is there. And the decay, the degradation, the illusions, all the stuff that we experience currently, and we expect it to get worse. Maybe it's the result of the champion needing to be replaced. Maybe it has nothing to do with an evil entity. It's just how much can one person, one being, one entity, I don't know what you would call it, do. And I always wondered, has there ever been a group? Has it always just been one? Has there ever been a group of champions? But then maybe there has been, maybe there were. There was a lot of conflict. A lot of conflict can build up over millennia. And maybe that's why one is probably better in choosing the right one. Maybe there have been two, and 2 has been tried, 3 has been tried, who knows? Or Sometimes when a cycle ends or an age ends and those within that group decide they can't handle it, they need to leave. And so some of them leave, one of them stays. Even when there's no one to take their place. So it's kind of a weird story, but I don't think there's ever been a story like that. At least not told. Like in some book or movie or story. This is, for most people, probably something new. And it's pretty good. It's very esoteric in some ways, Gnostic in a bit, but also very Christian in a sense as well. You could say Jesus Christ was the champion. Saved everybody. Let everybody exit. Let everybody go and not have to experience the same thing day in, day out, year after year in a repeated cycle. Because once everyone exits the room, people, who knows what happens inside, with no one to handle, I guess, what needs to be handled, which I don't know yet. This is always just one of those stories where I had no context that I had. And now there's a little bit of context, but I didn't work out the details. I don't know the details. If I was going to make things up story-wise, I could just make anything up. But as far as how I am coming to understand certain things, which I have no proof, it's just experience. And it's an otherworldly, other conscious experience. But experience is experience. When you play a video game, is that video game real? No. It's a video game. It's a simulation. But your experience within it affects your life. What you learn from it affects what you've maintained. So, I would just put that out there. Maybe someone could write a book about it. Maybe someone could make a movie about it. Some story. Keep us entertained for a little bit. You know, it's like a multitude of things. Keep everyone entertained. Keep everyone okay. Create some conflict. Gets people something to do. Maybe they're bored. The champions that have been around for a long time and are impatiently wanting to get out, and therefore making things occur rapidly at a pace that would not normally be. Change things up because, well, things might be too boring when it's too good. And some people fall. So interesting, I don't know, very deep reflections and contemplations. And anyways, that is it for tonight. I don't think I do anyone any justice talking about a different topic in this mood. But thank you for joining me. Have a good night.